Hello everyone, welcome back. We are doing a reaction video today, looking at some of the things you have tagged me in on TikTok, Instagram, some makeup hacks, some makeup myths, some makeup legends, I don't know. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram. It's at RobertWLSH, or on TikTok, I can't remember what that is, but I'll leave it on screen here for you, and links down below. There's also all my discount codes, whatever you want, down below in the description of this video. And as I always like to say in these videos, creativity and individuality have no rules, but makeup most definitely has a theory, and that's what we are looking for in these videos. Let me just fix this lash really quick. Okay, let's take a look at our first video.
Just bought a new palette and you see that the blush shades are not as pigmented as they should be. That's usually with baked formulas, and what you need to do is you need to scrape off the first layer of product. So let's do that together. This is gonna change. So this happened with my Charlotte Tilbury one. Usually ruined the engraving first before I decided to do this, because it is kind of breaks my heart deep down. So but what you're gonna do is literally just scrape off the first layer of product. And don't worry, we're not gonna waste this. This is painful to do. Okay, there's so much blush in there now. I'm gonna grab this old Lush thing. Just gonna put this in here. Now, look at that difference. It's insane. Now I'm gonna do the same thing to this one, and I'm gonna mix them together because I don't have another place to put it. A lot of baked blush formulas are like this. Some of them don't do this initially, and they will bring out the pigment, but most of them will not, and you have to do this to get the pigment out, which honestly sucks as a consumer to be doing more than you need to be doing, but I understand just because of the high quality of the formula. Okay, now look at that pigment. It is an insane difference, you guys. Insane difference. So if your product isn't working, it's probably just because it's a baked formula and you just need to scrape off the first layer. Yeah, I hope this helps. I find that this happens a lot with the Charlotte Tilbury palettes and a lot of baked formulas. So try it out and let me know how it goes.
She's absolutely right that you can scrape off that thing, but I just want to show you something, right? This happens, and it does happen with baked formulas, she's right, and also products that are very hardly pressed into the pan. You see where the product is darker on top? That's because of moisture. How this happens, when you see a product or a powder with a darkening on top and it's hard and you can't get any color from it, that is because of moisture, oils, hydration, whatever. That product is essentially getting wet and hardening. This is such a normal thing. It's not like oh, she's wrong. She's absolutely right. This does happen, but there's ways you can stop it, right? So a way this can happen is, say this is a blush palette. It's not, I just don't have one near me. I'm putting in the palette on my cheek, in the palette on my cheek. You could be transferring moisture from your skincare or your foundation into the palette, and when you're pushing your brush into the pan, you're pushing that oil into the product. Therefore, the product gets a little bit hard when it's set, when that oil dries out or that moisture dries out, and you get that hard top and no product can come off. Same with eyeshadows, oils from the lids. It's just transfer of moisture. The best way to stop that happening if you are using a brush is to not do what I said. Don't put your brush directly in a product like this. You use the sides and tap like this. So you're kind of rounding the brush. So you are still getting all the top. But that way you're not pushing so much into the product. You're kind of gently wiping and tap, 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 and clean your brushes. I've had enough makeup wearing friends from my teens upwards to know that a lot of you have some brushes that are sitting that have not been washed for a long time. And you could be using that brush for your foundation, for your blush, for your bronzer, all the products, but that brush does have moisture on it, and it has skin oils on it, it has natural oils on it, and that will transfer into your product. So this darkening happens, it absolutely happens, but it's not just because it's baked. It isn't a natural occurrence of a product, it's a reaction to the product mixing with oils from somewhere else.
Honeys, you don't need to do all that. I'm gonna show you how to clean your makeup brushes in 5 seconds. All you need are your dirty brushes, a container, a dark towel of some sort, clean and this thing. I have literally bought every little thing, every contraption to clean brushes, like that spinny thing, like cleaners, soaps, whatever. This is all you need. My foundation brush. You see that? Nasty, nasty. Okay, dip, dip. One little dip. Okay. Rub, 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 rub. Rub, 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 rub. Was that 5 seconds? Probably. Clean. And guess what? It's freaking dry already. You don't have to rinse it. You don't have to wait 24 hours to dry. You don't need those dryer spinny things. Here's another one. My concealer brush. Doop, dip. Look at it come off. Look at it come off. Rub, 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 rub. Rub, 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 rub. Bro.
Okay, we get it, right?
Come on!
Okay, we get it. Now, a lot of you won't be surprised that a brush cleaner is cleaning brushes. That one in particular is from Cinema Secrets. Let me just get it online. It's in. Now, listen, this is an iconic product in the makeup world, right? Loads of people will have this in their pro kit. It's the original blue vanilla makeup brush cleaner. Somebody actually sent me this a while back, and this is, I wanted to include it today because I personally don't like this one. The smell makes me feel travel sick. It reminds me of vanilla car, you know, the trees, the car air freshener trees, and it reminds me of travel sickness. So I personally can't use it. The thing about this brush cleaner is it does not sanitize your brushes, right? It's designed to clean them. Which it does. It removes the makeup, and you can, you know, use it. It's great between like clients and stuff, and you know, you do need to do a deep clean on your brushes occasionally. It's not the answer. It's not the answer to cleaning your brushes all the time. If you're just using them yourselves and you want them clean the next day, fine. But you do need to give your brushes a good deep clean. Eventually, at some point. Unfortunately, there is no quick way to clean your brushes that doesn't hurt your back. I also have to say, the person at the beginning of this is also cleaning their brushes incorrectly, because you shouldn't submerge your brushes like this, like putting them all the way in a thing. They shouldn't be wet all that way up. You don't need, micellar water is such a waste of time. Just wash them once a week, once every 2 weeks. Of course, if you're a professional makeup artist, you will sanitize your brushes when you need to. But that is a brush cleaner. It's just a brush cleaner, you know? A fast drying brush cleaner, that's all it is.
We have talked about the no-go zone before, but after some conversations with clients just recently, we're going to talk about it again. This is, and I'm writing this backwards, the no-go zone for women over 40. Let me explain. If we bring our contour past this line, it's only going to age us and really pull the face down. And if we bring our blush too far down and too close to this line, it's really going to make our face look heavy. Grab a makeup brush or a pencil straight out from the nose, and you have your perfect line for your contour. With blush outside of the nose, again, to the top of the ear, and we have our perfect placement for our blush. Corner of the nose to the corner of the eye, and voila! You have got your perfect lifted concealer placement. Using that exact same line, we now have the perfect placement for a nice, beautiful lifted eye look. Set it right on the outside, going upwards towards the end of the tail of the brow, and then just slowly, softly sweep it inward and blend it in, and it will be beautiful. Edge of the nose, yet again, through the arch of the brow, and you guys, that is kind of your perfect contour line. Because as we actually get older, our forehead can get larger, and this way we can pull it down and give the appearance of it to be slightly smaller. Let's not emphasize anything in the lower half of the face. This is going to drag it down. We want to keep everything up here, nice, bright, and lifted. As always, I will put all the products in the caption that I use today. I hope you found this helpful.
I was just not wrong at all. That's one thing that annoys me a little bit, I have to be honest, especially with makeup artists with experience, is when the language that's used, and it's probably not done on purpose, but it's like, women over 40 shouldn't do this. You know that every woman over 40 does not have the same facial structure, the same skin, the same elasticity. There are people over 40 who look like they've only just turned 30. And that's not a rarity. That's not completely rare. That's quite a common thing. So perhaps the wording for this would be, if you are over 40 and you don't want to emphasize the signs of aging in this region, here's what I would do, and then that. But I don't like general, because if you put anything on anyone of any age under here or down this way, it's gonna drag down. That's what it does. That's what would happen. If you put anything up here on anyone of any age, it will also lift. So this is great advice, not just for people in their 40s or over, you know, over 40, but for anyone. You know, if I put a blush on a child here, it's going to look like this is the plumpest part of their cheek. So it's going to, you know, that's just how makeup works. If I contour down here, yeah, it's going to give the person a longer face, no matter who they are. So I do wish the language was a little bit different, but it's not wrong. But listen, if one thing I always say to people when they're asking questions is, please don't generalize your face and your skin to a point where I have no idea what to say to you. I'm over 40. I'm 50. I have hooded eyes. These are all generalizations that look different on everyone. Another one I also get, I have brown skin. I have Indian skin. Again, all things that look completely different on everyone. What does that mean? I'm over 40 is not a skin type. It's your age. I'm 36. That's my age. Do you get an idea of what my skin looks like just by me saying my skin looks completely different to other people who are 36? Theirs looks different to mine. So hooded, my eyes are also, when I'm not you guys know, right? My eyes are hooded. I sit like this. My eyebrows are physically lifted here. My eyes are like this. I have hooded eyes. But some people are like, you don't have hooded eyes because my eye doesn't droop. But that is also a kind of hooded eye. Do you see what I mean? The generalization of what you consider of your question leads to more questions. There's things you can be more obvious about: oily skin, dry skin, dehydrated skin. They pretty much act the same on everyone, and there's a way you can fix that on everyone. But I do wish it would be less generalized in that sense.
From the out,
It's too much on it.
the whole tapping thing, people got that because that's what people would see people do online.
Really?
Yeah, so people thought that was like what you did. You swirl it, you tap it.
But how would you get product without picking up loads?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, what I usually do, so as a makeup artist, but this is something that I do at home, take a bit on the, I'm not even looking. Back of the hand.
On your hand,
yeah. Because then it's also just dispensed it into the brush a bit.
Okay, let me show you something. Okay, so again, you guys know I've been a makeup artist for almost 20 years. I started doing makeup before social media existed, really. So no, it's not something that started because of social media at all. I remember watching people do it. We would all do it. We would tap. That's because we were told hygiene. You obviously can't blow on your brushes, right? This is how I used to do it on counter, and when I'm doing clients, right, I would usually have a ring on every finger. So I'm holding my brush, and I want to tell you a story as well about why I don't put it on my skin. Let's go back to my fake palette. I would put the brush in the product, and I would tap on the back of my ring just to let like some product fall. I wouldn't tap for product like this. So tapping your product isn't a social media thing at all, and I'm sure anyone who's been doing their makeup, you don't even have to be a makeup artist, will tell you before they were on social media. I mean, we're all at an age where we know even before the internet, that isn't a thing. When she looked kind of pissed off, I do get it, because I would rather not tap like that. I do think it's slightly unprofessional, and I do think it just looks a bit funny and it puts a thing everywhere. I would also tap into a tissue in my hand, or like, you know, I hold like a million brushes at once, usually when I'm doing makeup, and I'll just like do this. The reason I don't do it on my skin anymore, let me tell you a whole story, right? I was once doing, I was on counter, so I was doing a customer's makeup, and I had a blush brush or a powder brush. And one thing I would always do is, like she just did, go into my blush, tap any excess off right here, tap, and I'll be tapping on it like this. And I could be doing the face, tapping, tap, tap, tap. I was doing this lady's skincare, and I noticed something on the side of her cheek, and I was like, oh, what is this? So, oh, that's just my skin. I know it looks like something, but it is just, I was born with it, that's just my skin. I was like, okay, great. And the more I was doing her skincare, and the more I was doing her makeup, I was like, this is really strange. So I remember tapping the blush onto my wrist like this, right? A few days later, I had ringworm on my wrist right here. It's the only product I tapped onto my skin. It's the only brush I tapped onto my skin in this position. Ringworm I caught from a customer because they didn't want to tell me they had ringworm. So I caught a great skin disease, infection, whatever it is. And I couldn't go to work because I couldn't be contagious with ringworm on my arm. So great. So that's probably not the best advice if you want to be overly hygienic, we should say, because there are, like ringworm, very, very contagious fungal infections. Ringworm being one of them. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Please at me, tag me, send me videos of whatever you see online that you think is a little bit suspicious, a little bit weird. Maybe you're just questioning it. Maybe you think it's good advice. Let me know, and I would love to see those. Thanks again, and I will see you very soon. Bye.